Okay, we will restart here. Okay, inequalities. Here we go again. Take 2. So we're going to talk about less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, so to write an inequality, it's going to give you like a statement, okay, like this. All real numbers x less than or equal to -7, okay? So it tells you the variable, okay, all real numbers x, you write that down. And then you've got to know which one of these says less than or equal to. Okay? So if x is less than or equal to, remember less than means the arrow is pointing at it. It's eating the one that's greater than. Less than or equal to -7, that's how you write the inequality. You can literally most of the time just read it and write it down. 6 less than a number k is greater than 13. So there's also going to be like actual, not equations, but there's going to be more than just this in there. So 6 less than a number k. Remember, less than means we got to switch them. So we're going to do k, and then less than means minus. 6 is greater than 13. Okay, so there can be more than just a variable on one side. So we're going to end up solving these using what we know about solving equations. It's very similar. Not in this lesson, but we'll solve them later. Okay, so that's writing them, which is pretty straightforward. And then the next thing in this lesson is identifying solutions. So basically what you're going to do is they're going to give you a number and you're going to put it in there and see if it works, okay? So like this one, is the number a solution of 2x plus 1 is greater than -3? So you put it in for x. So you're going to say, okay, 2 times -3 plus 1 is greater than -3. And it's like a question mark. Like, is it greater than -3 when I do this? So you solve it. So 2 times -3 is what? -6. -6 plus 1 is -5. So this statement is really saying -5 is greater than -3. Is that true or false?
False.
That's false. So the answer to this, is -3 a solution? -3 is not a solution. Okay, and so that's how you figure it out. If this comes out false, that's not a solution. If it had come out true, you say, yes, it is a solution. Okay, so try -1 then. If you put that in, let's see what a difference that makes. 2 times -1 plus 1 is greater than -3. Question mark, right? Is this a solution? So 2 times -1 is what? -2 plus 1 is -1. So now we have -1 is greater than -3. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So we say, yes, -1 is a solution. Okay. And so there's going to be, whoa, a lot of yes and no's here for those types.
Yes. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this one goes to the back of the page here. What I did is I copied an example of graphing inequalities, okay? And so what you need to realize, and the basic things that you need to know is this, that when we graph an inequality, we graph it on a number line, not a coordinate plane, and there's either going to be an open circle or a closed circle, okay? And so open circles are for less than or greater than. Closed circles, meaning they're filled in, are for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So open circles means that they're not included. Closed circles mean they are included, okay? So for example, this first one, if we were to write an inequality for that graph, what you should do is start with your letter, let's say X. I pick X a lot. And then the number that the circle is on is going to be your number. And then you decide the inequality. First of all, it's open, so it's got to be one of these. It's got to be either less than or greater than, because it's an open circle. So the arrow is pointing toward numbers that are less than 1 or greater than 1. Less than. So you pick this. X is less than 1. That's how you write the inequality for the graph. All right, let's try again. Let's try the second circle. And I know that's really, the copy isn't good, but this circle is filled in. Same with the last one, so we'll fill it in better. Okay, so pick a letter. For the sake of notes, I'm just going to make it X again. What number do I choose for this inequality? 0, yep.
0.
Okay. And it's filled in this time, right? It's a closed circle. So this time, what do we pick? Less than or equal to or greater than or equal to? We pick greater than or equal to because the arrow is pointing to all numbers that are greater than that. All right, again, X. Who knows the number? -3. Okay, good. Open circle, right?
Yeah.
So do we choose less than or greater than?
Greater than.
Greater than. X is greater than, because all these numbers where the arrow is pointing are greater than -3. Last but not least, X, what's our number? -2. Oops. It's a closed circle.
What's that?
Less than, nope.
Less than and equal to?
Less than or equal to, yeah, because it's closed. Okay, remember how when we solved equations and I said, I always put the letter on the left when I solve it because later it helps me cheat a little bit, or like this is the later, okay, this is now. Notice this, that the arrow is pointing this way. What way is the inequality pointing? Okay, same as the arrow. Same with this one, going this way. Inequality points the same direction. If your variable is on the left, your inequality will, if this were a little arrow, point the same exact direction. Okay? It only works if the variable is on the left, though. Okay? It's a little check, a little for you to like go, oh, the arrow is pointing to my left here. So my inequality, the pointy side, should be going toward the left here. And then you just have to know open and closed circle. So I'm going to write that in here, open and closed, just because those are the terms. Okay, questions so far? It's pretty, like the introduction is not too bad to inequalities, pretty self-explanatory once you have the rules. All right, so turn the page. So all kinds of things, okay? So the next one is graphing them yourself. So in order to graph an inequality, my first piece of advice to you is switch it so that your letter is on the left, okay? So it says 2 is greater than or equal to A, right? I can switch that around so that I have A on the left and 2 on the right, as long as the alligator is eating the one that it was originally eating. So it's eating the 2, right? So I have to make sure that it continues to eat the 2 if I switch it. Does that make sense? Okay, the reason that'll help me is now when I graph it, okay, in order to graph it, all you have to do is draw a number line. What number do you have to make sure is in this graph? 2, right? So I always start with whatever number is my inequality, is in the inequality, and then I put numbers around it. So I'll put 1 and 0. Oh, -1, I'm sorry. Wow, what am I doing? Yeah, 1 and 0, not negative. I am freaking out this morning. It is a Monday, isn't it? 0, sorry. -1 now. 3, 4. Woo. Okay, so now you decide. 2 is the number. Is it going to be an open or a closed circle around the 2 this time? Nathaniel, what do you think?
Close.
It's closed. So you start with a closed circle. Now, you can read it as A is less than or equal to 2, right? And so what numbers are less than 2? Going left or right? Left. And also the reason I turn it around is I know, judging by this arrow is going that way, this arrow must go that way as well. Okay? It's a good little check. Now, once you get really good at it, you will see it like this and you'll know it anyway, but it does help out when you're learning it. All right, here we go. So if they give you the graph in problem 4, write the inequality for it. So I always start with my letter. Then I pick the number that has to go with it, which would be what? -1. And then I pick my inequality. And this is filled in, right? What is the inequality that has to go with it? Cody, go ahead. Greater than or equal to. And you can check. Arrow is pointing this way. Arrow is pointing this way. Good job. All right, let's do the other one. X, what's my number? 4. Okay. What's the inequality got to be? Chris, go ahead.
Greater than?
Nope.
Less than.
Less than. Good. And so again, arrow is pointing to the left. I want the arrow pointing to the left. The cheat helps, doesn't it? All right, last but not least, writing real-world inequalities. So you guys are going to come across this, but you won't write an inequality in your head for it, right? But they really are an inequality. So it says trail rides starting at $19.99. So what you're going to pay, your cost, let's say C, and $19.99, oops. Think about that a second. If they start at $19.99, can they be $19.99? Yes, so we know we're going to have an or equal to, right? Can they be $20? Can they be $19.98? No. So your cost is going to be greater than or equal to $19.99. Make sense? Okay, what about the speed limit? Now, 8 miles per hour, that's probably like on a golf cart or something like that, or I don't know. But speed limit, right? Your speed, and 8 miles per hour is not very fast. The speed limit, talking about getting a ticket, right? Can you go 8 miles an hour?
Yes.
So the or equal to. Can you go 9 miles an hour?
No.
You can, but you're risking getting a ticket, right? So your speed has to be less than or equal to 8.
But you can go 3 over each way.
That is not the rule. They can get you literally for 1 mile an hour over.
They can?
They can.
3 over and 3 under.
Nope, they can get you for 1 mile an hour if they really want to be picky. But they normally do give you a little bit of leeway, right? Because that would be really being nitpicky. Okay, hopefully that's helpful for those people that are online. And then we're going to do 3-1 practice the